Hi, it's Rachel. So if you've watched other videos on my channel, you may have picked up on the fact that I tend to be a contrarian. That's not going to change for this show. So I watched both seasons of The Cleaning Lady, and while I've had criticisms for this show since the pilot, season 2 was even more frustrating than I found season 1 to be. So I'm gonna complain. So for anyone who decides to listen to me discuss this show but is unfamiliar with it, The Cleaning Lady follows Tony, an undocumented immigrant from the Philippines who has moved to Las Vegas for the purpose of saving her son as he has an autoimmune disease. She works as a cleaning lady, hence the show's name, and one day she is unfortunately the witness to a murder. She pleads for her life by offering to clean up the evidence, and Armand Morales, one of the higher-ups in a cartel, is impressed with Tony's services and gives her the ultimatum of working for him or dying for being a witness. Unsurprisingly, this leads to Tony deciding to work with Armand. Garrett, an FBI agent, becomes aware of Tony's connection to Armand, and he pressures Tony into becoming an informant. Garrett provides protection for Tony and her sister-in-law as they are both undocumented, and Armand provides resources to help keep Tony's son Luca healthy. Due to Armand's help, Tony continues to find herself getting deeper and deeper into the crime world, but her relationship with Garrett means that there are some boundaries she is unwilling to cross. So the whole premise of the show relies on Tony being caught between the FBI and the crime world. To me, that's where a lot of the intrigue comes from. It's a balancing act where she has to constantly reevaluate which side she's on and how far she's willing to go for the certain task at hand. Like, I've seen many reviewers frustrated by Tony being motivated because of Luca's health, but that's been the driving force since day one, so I don't know what you guys expected. Literally every action she's taken for Garrett or Armand has been for the purpose of ensuring Luca stays healthy. And season 2 makes this incredibly clear as Tony keeps making riskier and riskier decisions due to her tunnel vision regarding Luca's health. And near the end of the season, she's even working against Armand's best interest. In the season 2 finale, Garrett uses himself as a shield for Tony during a shootout and dies. By killing Garrett, this tension is gone. In addition to this, Tony and her sister-in-law Fiona were arrested in the previous episode, and Fiona was scheduled to be deported. Garrett's boss does not have the same dynamic that Garrett had with Tony, and she does not do anything to stop Fiona from being deported. This means that Tony has no reason to keep a relationship with the FBI anymore, and with Garrett's death, this bridge is seemingly burned for good. Now, I found an interview that the writers did, like, a day or two after the finale aired, and they say that they made this decision so Tony will be forced to go deeper into the crime world. But clearly they want a story about Tony becoming a crime boss, because that's definitely the angle the finale was pushing. And Tony is choosing this because it is her only option. It's not a choice she would have made otherwise. She keeps going deeper and deeper into the crime world to try and undo past mistakes, instead of actively choosing to get more ingratiated as her morality starts to degrade. Like, the whole point of this show is to watch Tony slide into immorality. But the show seemingly still wants her to be the moral center, while also having her rise the ranks in the crime world. And it's like, you can't have both. You can't, they're opposite ideas. And having Tony choose criminality as a last resort is a weaker story than committing to her embracing this darker side of herself. Another big issue I have with the writing is the insistence on Armand and Tony's quote-unquote romance. As you might have picked up from my summary, I don't like Armand at all. He's violent and egotistical, and at one point in season 2, his wife Nadia says that he's attracted to Tony because he likes that he can play the hero for her. And woo! Nadia had him fucking pegged for that. I think season 2 made that undeniable. because we also learn in season 2 that he played the hero for Nadia by helping her out of an abusive relationship. And him aiding Tony in saving Luca's life is literally the bare fucking minimum that Armand should be doing when he's constantly pulling her into dangerous situations and constantly getting her involved with dangerous people. But anyway, if you want me to talk about why I hate Armand, let me know in the comments because that's a whole other video and we do not have the time in this critique for me to get into that. But my problem is in season 2, the writing created so many conflicts between Armand and Tony just for their dynamic to remain unchanging. Like, at the beginning of the season, Tony has the idea that they should sell medical drugs to make money quickly. And Armand decides to get some drugs she doesn't approve of in addition to the drugs she asks for, which angers Tony, which makes sense given her background as a doctor. And because of this issue, she says that they're done working together. But that only lasts for like an episode. A few episodes later, Tony tells Armand that she's willing to throw Nadia under the bus to save her family if it comes to it. And Armand doesn't offer any real pushback. A few episodes after that, Armand has a plan to kill Roberts, a man who has the resources to help Tony get medicine for Luca. Because of her tunnel vision, when it comes to Luca, she's not willing to lose a secure connection to this medication and blindly trusts that Armand can also help her. But Armand plans to continue with this assassination anyway. And Tony manages to stop this plan by pure happenstance of being in the right place at the right time and saves Robert's life, which then puts Armand and Nadia in extreme danger. And then in the finale, Nadia kills Robert, which she was only able to do through Armand's encouragement and help. But in doing so, that is what prompts Fiona's deportation. And they had this many disagreement in like 6 or 7 episodes, I think. And the writers never let this lead to a fracture. Like, in the finale, Tony expresses frustration with Armand for killing Robert, but she explicitly says that she never stopped trusting him. Like, give me a break. Like, their dynamic should not have survived this. Let them become enemies, please. This story would be a million times more interesting if they fully hated each other and were working against each other. Like, the writers are fully tanking the show because they want to pursue this pseudo romance over like an actual interesting story. In my opinion, if the writers were determined to have a big death in the season 2 finale, it would have made more sense if it had been Armand. This means Tony would still be caught between the criminal world and the FBI, and it means she would have to fully choose criminality instead of it being her last resort. Like, I'm just not interested in this passive approach. Commit to Tony making this choice and have her actively decide to delve deeper into this world. Like, honestly, in fact, that's a good way to describe my issues with the writing. It's a lack of commitment because the writers are too scared to make a definitive decision. Like, literally, the only good storyline of season 2 was Nadia's, and the writers actually allowing her to kill her abuser. And I mean, that comes with caveats as well. When we were introduced to Robert, he and Nadia had a very nice dynamic to start the season. But then when the writers decided to step on the gas with vilifying Robert, we learn about his abusive tendencies. Like, it really feels like a switch flipped with the writers because Robert went from a formidable threat to Tony and Armand, and the only person who saw Nadia's value and respected her in the first half of the season, to passive-aggressive, possessive, controlling, impulsive, and extremely paranoid. Like, there's a huge disconnect between these two personalities, even if his disdain for Armand was obvious from day one. Like, Naveen Andrews did a fantastic job in this role, but the writing for Robert was trash, and he deserved a lot better than this. Anyway, if this show gets a season 3, I don't think I'll be back. I don't care to see the writers destroy Nadia as a character, which seems likely given what they said in that interview I mentioned before. I don't care to see more of this bullshit romantic tension between Tony and Armand. Like, I think the show could be good if the writers didn't live up Armand's ass and were determined to make him look good to the audience and Tony at every turn. But they're cowards, and it's destroying the show. Anyway, given opinions I've seen from the fandom, I'm guessing most people who watch the show won't agree with my views. But I've been frustrated since the finale aired a couple weeks ago, and I felt the need to express these irritations. If you've made it to the end of this video, thanks for listening. I don't think I'll be talking about the show again. Hopefully, I'll catch you again soon. Bye!